Hello guys, welcome to Nehmtech channel. This is Nehma, and I'm very much happy to have you on board. So today we are going to talk about the Python classes and objects. But before we start, I want to make this simple request. If it's your first time to get into this channel, please take a second, subscribe, like, and also share this video to your friends. And also to the returning subscribers, you can also like this video. But I really appreciate you for your great support. But then I said that we are going to talk about the Python classes and objects. So basically there's something that you need to understand here, that basically Python is an object-oriented programming language, and almost everything in Python is an object with its properties and methods. And a class on the other hand is like an object constructor, or basically a blueprint for creating the objects. So I want us to do what I want to show you how to create a class. And to create a class we use the keyword class. So let me show you example for you to get this stuff very well. Let me show you this example, and let me do this. Let me first of all define this class using the class. I said that we use the class keyword. Then the class name, I'm gonna give it any name like my class. Then you close with this colon, and then now let me give it this x, then assign it to 5. Then I'm gonna do what, let me say print, and remember it does not have the indentation here, so you must remove the indentation, otherwise it will give you the error there. So let me say print print what, let me say print my class. And then guys, let me do what, let me click on the basically if you don't know how to run, you can use this shortcut. You can click on this icon here to run, but then when you have, you can see that you have the shortcut there, which is shift plus F10. But then you can also click on this run, then you can see you have the options to run. But then all in all, you can click on the shift plus F10 to open the terminal here. And then guys, you can see that we have just done what, we have just created the class there. So basically this is how you can do it. This is how you can create the class. Now I want to show you how to create what, to create the object. So now we can use the class like this one that we just named it as my class. Now to create what, to create the objects. So now we are going to create an object with the, perhaps let me give it personal, or let me just say p1. Then I'm going to print what, the value of x. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let me hey, other than deleting everything, let me just clear this last line. This print line. Actually these are the line to execute the codes. But then guys, you've seen that this basically the class keyword, then the name of this class is my class. Then here I've just created this x, then I assign it to 5. So I'm gonna do this. Let me create this object here. The first object is p1. Then I'm going to assign it to this class name. Then let me say what, let me say it is my class. Actually function here. Then I'm going to say print what, let me say print p1 dot x. Now I want us to print the value of x. So I'm gonna say what, let me say click on the basically I want us to create an object named this one p1. I've just created this object named p1, and then I'm going to print the value of x there. So shift plus F10, and then you can see that here the value here is 5. So basically I want us to talk about the init function. So for like these examples above, guys, that I've just shown you the classes and the objects in their simplest form, but then they are not really useful in the real life application. Now to understand the meaning of the classes, we have to understand the building, the init functions. So basically all classes have the function called the init function, which is always executed when the class is being initiated. But then we use the init function to assign values to objects, object properties, or basically other operations that are necessary to do when the object is being done, what is being created. So I want us to create basically a class named, for example, a person, and then guys, I'm going to use the init function to assign values for perhaps the name of that person and the age. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let me clear everything first of all. Then first of all, you define the class using the class keyword here, class. Then the name of this class, perhaps let me give it a person. Now then I'm going to define this function using the div keyword. Then I'm going to use what the init function init function to assign values for basically the name and the other stuffs. So let me you create a command. Basically it doesn't have to be self, but then it must begin in this properties here. So let me say name, then also I'm gonna give it, let me say name, and then also perhaps age, and let me say age, and then I do what, let me also do this, let me say self, basically let me just say self, but then it doesn't have to be self. You can use any other name, but then it must begin in this first in this first property here. So let me say self dot perhaps name, is it it's name dot name. So basically self dot name, and then also let me assign it to name, and then also guys, I'm gonna print what, let me say self dot age, then I'm gonna assign it to age. And then now I want us to do this. I want us to print what, I want us to create an object. First of all, let me create this object here, and then assign it to this class person. Then and the person has the name, perhaps Nehemiah. You can give it any name. Nehemiah is Nehemiah. And then the age, perhaps you can give it any value like a 21. I'm not 21, but then I did just an example. And then also let me say print perhaps this person, actually the class is the object is p1, the object, but then I'm going to specify what the name. I want to get the name of this person. So name is name, basically name. And also I want us to get the age of this guy. So let me say print what these are object here with the, but basically specifying to the age. So I'm gonna give it age there. So now to run it, we are going to click on the shift plus F10, and then you can see that we have the name, which is Nehemiah, and the age is 21. But then you need to understand that the init function is called automatically every time the class is being used to create a new object, as we've just seen, guys. So now I want us to talk about the object methods, and basically the objects can also contain methods, and the methods in object are function that belongs to the object. And I want us to create perhaps a method in the person class. So let me do this. Do I have to delete everything? No. Let me just clear this stuff up to here. And then I do this here. Let me just say what, let me say first of all, let me say create here an indentation here, and then let me create another function here, div. And then perhaps I want us to insert a function that prints a greeting and execute it on the first object here, the p1 object. It was the p1 object. So you can give it any name like my function, and then let me assign it to let me give it self, and then do this. Let me say print what, let me say print this string here, like let me say greetings, my name, my name is, then I'm going to concatenate with these I'm going to concatenate with these name. So let me say self dot name. So I want us to find the name of this person, to find to have the greeting data is to create a function that prints a greeting and execute it on the basically this object. This p1 object. And then let me do this now. Let me create that object here. So the object I said earlier is p1. So let me say p1, then assign it to this person. So basically this is the object of this class person, and then the age or the name, and the name, you remember it was Nehemiah. Then also the age, I'm gonna give it 21, any value, it's just okay. But then also let me say what let me finalize with this object here, and then create the function for it now to run it on the terminal here. Now it is my let me say it was my function here. So let me click on the shift plus F10, and then as you can see here, we have the terminal. We have just inserted a function that prints this greeting, greetings. My name is Nehemiah. Then you have just seen it that it is executed on the these are p1 object here. You can see. So basically, guys, that's how you can do it. That's how you can do it inside this object. These are all about these objects. But then I need to note that the self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class. For example, the class was Nehemiah, actually the person, and it's used to access the variable that belongs to the class. And then let's talk about this self parameter that we have just used several here. You can see that we have self. So basically I want us to talk about this self parameter. So basically the self parameter is just a reference to the current instance of the class, and is used to access the variables that belongs to the class. And basically it doesn't have to be named self. You can call it whatever you like, but then but it has to be the first parameter of the of any function in the class. So like let me try to change it so that you may understand. Perhaps let me give it Nehmtech. Let me give it Nehmtech. Basically my channel is Nehmtech, my website is nehmtech.com. so let me just use Nehmtech so that you can familiarize with the brand's name. So let me say Nehmtech, and then here also let me say Nehmtech, and then here you can give it anything else like A, B, C, and then here also you can also ensure that it resembles. So let me say ABC, and then I do what, let me click on the shift plus 15. Then guys, you can see that it still does what, print the that greeting there. So guys, let's talk about how to modify object properties. So you can modify properties of on objects like for example, let me use this example here. Like basically I want to modify the age to be something else. So like let me first of all clear this last line. Then I'm gonna say what, let me say p1. Basically this is the object here, the object here p1, and then I want to modify the age, and then I'm going to change it to a new value like let me say 80 or 100 years. Then I'm going to say what, print, let me say print what, print basically print what, let me say print these are p1 but the age, actually this is the object, but then I want to specify these are actually the age. So the age is basically I want us to change to modify the value to be 100. So let me click on the shift plus F10, and then again you can see that we have just modified the age, and it's now what, it's now 100. So basically let's talk about how to delete. Basically if you want to delete the object property, basically you can use the del keyword. You can delete the property on any object by using the del keyword. and basically I want us to do what I want us to delete perhaps the age property from this object here, pi object, p1 object, and perhaps let me say what, let me say del. Let me remove this first line first of all. Let me say del for delete, del then p1 dot age. Then let me click on the shift plus F10. Then guys, you're going to see the error here, the terminal here. But then let me click on the shift plus F10, and then guys, you can see we have the error here because we have just deleted the these are basically we have just deleted the these object here. You can see that the person object has no attribute age. So basically I've just deleted the object, this property, like the age property here. So basically let me try to talk about how you can delete the entire the entire object. Like you want to delete this pi object, p1 object. So basically you can delete the object by using basically the del keyword, just like how to delete the property from these objects. So you can delete using this del keyword here. Like let me say del this object here, p1, the object is p1. Then here I want us to specify the full object here. So let me click on the shift plus F10, and then guys, you can see that it does print this error, the traceback most recent call last. And then you can see that a name error, name p1 is not defined. Basically I've just done what, deleted this object here. So basically guys, you can do that to do what, to delete the entire object. So let me talk about, as we finish, let me talk about the pass statement. Now the class definition cannot be empty, but if you for some reason have a class definition with no content, then we put what in the pass statement to avoid what, to avoid getting the the error. So let me do this. Let me say what, let me say perhaps let me show you this example. Like let me create this class. Let me say class. Then the class is person. The class is person. Then let me assign it to let me say pass. Let me say pass. Then I click on shift plus F10. Then guys, you can see that we do not have the error there. But then if you don't have what, if you don't have this pass statement, then it's going to do what, it's going to print the error here. So when you click on shift plus F10, and then you can see guys that we have this error here. And so basically this is what I wanted to show you in this video. And basically if you find that the video has been of help to you, please take a second, subscribe, like and share it to your friends. And until next time, goodbye.